Good morning, everybody. This is Gina coming to you again from my family's ranch down in deep South Texas. It's been a couple of weeks since I've posted a video, and I wanted to do hopefully a short video to keep everybody updated on what we've been doing. So starting out here on the porch, you'll see that it still looks pretty trashy, but it is different trash. We've hauled off the toilet that was out here, and we've hauled off many loads to the dump of trash and debris that we've been taking out of the house. We are still working on the bathroom renovation. Right now we're still doing demo. As you can see, here is the primary bathroom counter and the cabinet. As I've mentioned previously, we had a lot of water damage, and you can probably see mold there. As we go inside the house, you might notice something there that we'll be talking about in just a second, but let's get inside. So this looks a little more cluttered maybe because we've started pulling things out of the primary bedroom and having to put some of that furniture in here. But here is one of the big changes. We ended up having to get a mini split system put in. The AC did turn on. There was power to it. There was some air blowing, but it was a 24-year-old system that needed to be redone. And unfortunately, the ductwork was shot. The AC needed a complete redo, and it was going to cost a lot more than we had in our budget for AC work. So we had mini splits put in, and that was done this past week on Valentine's Day. So there are mini splits in each one of the bedrooms, and there is one here in the dining/living room area. So again, there's one here in one of the smaller bedrooms. We moved out some furniture just to make it a little more accessible for the workers that came in. We have not yet taken out the window units that we had been using. So that is maybe going to happen today or tomorrow. Tomorrow is President's Day, so it's a holiday. So if we don't get to that today, we will work on that tomorrow. And this is the one that was put in the west bedroom. And we'll go out here and look outside. There used to be a very large unit there, if you'll recall. Now we have this much smaller inverter compressor that operates the mini splits. This is supposed to be a much more energy efficient way for us to cool and heat this home. The mini splits use a lot less electricity than a large central heat and air system would. And this one, which is a carrier unit, these mini splits that are in the bedrooms are 6,000 BTUs each. And the one in the living room, dining room area, and then the one in the primary bedroom are 12,000 BTUs each, but they also will operate at less energy if needed, depending on the temperature outside. So this is another area where I have done a lot of work. I think I did maybe show this briefly in one of the previous videos. There was a lot of fallen down tools and trash. Get out of my own shadow there. And I was able to get everything picked up off the floor. Of course, I had to use gloves to do that because, as I may have mentioned previously, rats had gotten into this home at one point, and it was very dirty and messy down there. And so I picked everything up, threw away, gosh, from this corner alone, probably 5 or 6 large trash bags, very full of just stuff that, was no good anymore. And so we disposed of that yesterday, hauled that to the dump. And then I came back and I scrubbed these floors pretty well. They could still use with a couple more scrubbings. And then we're going to have to go through all of these tools and equipment that is here, see what we want to keep and what, as I think I previously mentioned, we may sell or give away to maybe a band, either the university or high school or one of the junior high bands around here for repairing instruments. That is what my grandfather did. He, in his retirement, he did a lot of work repairing band instruments for the local high school bands in our area here in South Texas. So we'll start with this shot because I always say, what's behind this store? And you'll see that it is a lot less. We have moved quite a few things out of here. Still working on unloading these shelves of the things that were on them. This piece is actually mounted to the wall, so we'll have to undo those mounts when we go to remove that, but we'll need to get that out. And this old sewing machine, all of that's going to go into the living room so that we can pull out this carpet. Again, you'll see the sinks are from the bathroom. These are actually from the closet, and I'll go in there in a second, which we might as well do that now. So again, door number 2, what's been going on in here? That didn't brighten things up too well, but as you can see, we've continued with the demo, removing out all of the drywall that was water damaged and had some mold. The carpet and the sub-carpeting, the foam that goes under the carpet has been pulled out. Working on this side, still need to do that back area. Still need to do here, which is complicated by the fact that this is where the electrical runs through. So we haven't gotten to that yet, but have done a lot of work in here, including this, which, as I mentioned before, used to be a water heater closet, and we're having to take out some of the, it's not structural to the house, but it was structural to this little closet area. These studs to be able to get, there was drywall here, if you can see that. Sorry about the bad lighting. That was between these 2 boards that had to come out. So we are working on getting everything down to the studs in here, so we can spray all of the wood down really, really well with mold killer. There is a lot of mold. And we have also done a ton of work in here, and by we, I mean my brother and my boyfriend. They have been working on pulling out all of the drywall. We're actually going to go all the way up this wall and take out all of that drywall and all of this insulation. We've peeked behind there. That is an exterior wall, obviously. That's why there's insulation. And the mold doesn't seem to have gone to the exterior wall, but we still want to pull that out so we can spray down all of these studs really, really well. There has been a leak before here in this plumbing that was to the sinks, which caused the damage along this wall, this outer wall, going back that way and coming, this is the doorway into the bedroom. So coming into this room. And then there was also a leak here, which was where the toilet was. We just have it covered by a very old trash can. But this is the closet back there, obviously. And this was what I told you used to be the water heater closet, where we had my grandpa had put shelves in here after the water heater was moved outside. So he used this as like an extra storage area. But the toilet had been leaking. And at first we thought it was maybe around the seal at the base. But now we're thinking that it is actually leaking from where the water comes in, and possibly it doesn't appear to be leaking up here. It's probably leaking in between the floor and the subfloor. And it sounds like it's maybe shooting a fine spray. So we're probably going to have to either come up from underneath and cut out the subfloor, but more than likely, because of the damage to this, once we get this linoleum pulled out, probably going to cut away some of this plywood that's been heavily water damaged, repair the issues that we find in there, and then replace this with some new flooring, wood flooring, the plywood flooring, before we put on probably what will be like wood plank flooring will probably go in here. The mold damage didn't really go very high for some reason in this area, even though it was really close to the toilet. So we're kind of stopping about here. You can see it from the back side, and there isn't really mold on there. We are going to have to do the same thing with this box here. This is all one piece that goes up, and it is part of the water heater closet that used to be there. So we're going to have to unscrew that so that we can pull that out and get to this piece of drywall that's pinned in between these two things. You can't just knock it loose because it's actually nailed to these studs. So we'll have to take this box out, which it goes all the way up to the ceiling. So that'll come out internally of that water heater closet. And then we'll be able to pull out drywall that is on both sides, sandwiched between. We are going to have to take out this walk-in shower that was added later. This used to be a tub when the home was first built, and it was changed into a larger walk-in shower. As my grandma got older, she needed more space. We're going to have to pull this out to access the drywall that is behind this. There is mold on that, and we want all of that to come out. So we're going to take this out in pieces. You know, it was put in pieces, so we'll take it out in pieces, hopefully not damaging it, because we would like to reuse it. But if it gets damaged, it gets damaged. But we're going to pull all of that out and work on the drywall behind it, get it down to the studs, pull out that insulation, spray everything down with the mold killer, and then redo the drywall, and then reset this or another walk-in shower. This will also be coming out. This is actually the original shower, which became, too small for my grandma to use as she had more mobility issues later in life. That's a mess. But this is going to come out as well. As you can see, they just capped that off. And what we're going to do is pull this out and make it into a shelf or a closet of some sort for storing. But we are going to get that out. That's actually on the back side of this. So you can see the plumbing there for that. And there is drywall back there. Luckily, it's not moldy or anything, but that will need to come out as well. Potentially. Probably. So this we're not so sure about. That is the door to the bathroom, but there is a water stain here and right here. You can't see it very well because this is in the way and there's a bit of a shadow there anyway. But there is a stain there, and the stain kind of comes out on the carpet. Of course, this carpet is all coming out anyway, but we probably are going to open up this wall, remove that. That is the backside wall, and it is pretty damaged heavily on the other side. So we want to get in here from both sides and just kind of clean everything up really, really well. And we might start to open up this wall if it looks like that water damage came into here. You can see a crack here. This is a modular home, and that probably the house is shifting, and that is where that crack came from. Potentially it shifted because of the water damage, but who knows, right? It's just shifting. We're not on a solid foundation, this home. So we might open it up just to this seam and see how far that damage goes this way, or, if we have to, we'll go further into the room, potentially redoing this whole wall. But I don't think it goes much further than maybe this area, or possibly maybe just a little bit further. But we'll see. We're going to keep going until we see clear margins, right? No mold. So once we see that the mold has stopped, we'll stop opening up the wall and we'll clean everything up and replace everything from that area. Probably won't get textures to match, but we'll do our best to make it look nice. But yeah, who knows? These are textured walls, and we probably won't be able to get those textures to match, but the important thing is no mold. I did step back into the restroom to say that when they pulled the cabinets out, my brother went ahead and put some valves on these water lines, the hot and cold water coming in, to stop those. And he tried to do it over here as well, but the store, the hardware store, only had 2 of the metal, and then they sold him some 2 plastic ones, and the plastic ones actually went on perfectly fine. They weren't leaking where they were connected. They were leaking from the actual valve. So he took those back and just capped these off because We are trying to get water turned onto the home while we're working so we can use the other restroom, and also so we can have water to clean. As you've seen in a previous video, when I'm mopping and washing or wiping things down, I have to haul water from where the chickens and the turkeys are, and that's quite a hassle. So we're trying to get water turned on, but, well, temporarily while we're doing this. Then once we go to install the plumbing and fix those things, we'll, have to turn it off to do that. But we want to have it temporarily to do what we need to do in here. So we capped those, he capped those, and he put valves on these. Hi. So when he did that work, we went ahead and turned the water on. It hadn't been on in quite a while out here. So we got the water turned on, and we checked the entire house and didn't see any leaks inside. And then my boyfriend came outside to get a tool and saw a large lake out in this area. And we discovered that this pipe was broken, and it actually broke from where there was a faucet that came up here so that you could, attach a garden hose and water the lawn. And it broke where that attachment was. So my brother had to go out of town to pick up the parts because the hardware store here only stays open, till like 4 or 5 on a Saturday. And so they were already closed. So he had to drive about 45 minutes to go get the pieces. And by the time he got back, it was dark. But that is another job that needs to be done now before we can turn the water back on to the house. So I showed these earlier, and these are the copper coil tubes that come in for the mini splits, and then also the PVC is the drain pipe for it. And of course those are really ugly, and so we were talking to the gentlemen who were installing it about our options, and of course they had some very expensive options that they could have installed, but one of the suggestions that they gave us was to use gutters. So we probably will be doing that, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. So this is a piece of gutter that we actually took off the porch, but they were saying you can use gutter like this, the U-shaped kind that hangs off your roof, and you can actually install this over that, and that a lot of people do that. Now this is very beat up and looks quite ugly, so we won't be using that piece, but that is basically what they said you can do, is get sections of gutter, cap it off at the top, and run it down to cover that. And, if we used a color similar to this, like the brown, that would blend in pretty well with the house, and at least wouldn't look as ugly as that does. This is a view of the inverter compressor for the mini splits from the outside. The unit that was here before took up a whole lot more square footage than this does, so that's nice because it makes more walkway space through here. This is the carport where we would park our vehicles once my parents start living here. Of course we have to get all the rest of this trash out, and then this is where this back door used to hang, and so we'll be replacing that. And you can access the back of the house through here. I've shown you guys this area before. This is the back porch, which we've been working on cleaning as well. A lot more walk space now that we've gotten a lot of the trash out of here. But again, we still have work to do out here. So got to haul off these old appliances and old equipment. We're going to order a rack to hang this. Yeah, lots to be done. We're doing it little at a time, every weekend, chipping away at it. Once we get the water all fixed, all the plumbing fixed inside, or at least capped off, we'll be having a plumber come and replace this water heater, because obviously, as you can see, it's very old and doesn't work. So yeah, we'll be buying a new water heater and having a plumber come. We do use propane out here, so it will be a propane water heater, and this is where that is, and that's the window to the bathroom there. So we'll be getting that done pretty soon, actually, once we just get all the little plumbing things fixed, that busted pipe on the other side, and after that I think everything's pretty much, oh wait, no, there's still the toilet leak in the floor, so where the intake water comes. So we'll do the outside leak first, and then that inside leak. which hopefully won't be too complicated, and then we'll be getting the plumber to come in and do this. So I'll go ahead and end it here. A little bit longer video than I like to do, but it's been about 3 weeks probably since I last gave an update. And yeah, there's been a lot going on. I know we had originally said that we were going to wait and do the ACs later, and it would probably be the last thing we would do. But there was a pretty good financing type sale going on with the company that we work with, that we trust, and they were having a sale because of President's Day, I guess. That's why it was. I doubt it was a Valentine's sale. But anyway, they were having a good sale, and we couldn't pass it up. So we went ahead and moved forward with that and thought, well, at least if we get that done, once we get the mold out of the house, we can turn those units on, which we're not operating them right now, heat or cold, because we're still working on remediating our mold problems. But once we're done with that, we'll get them on and we can actually stay warm or cool as we work. But thank you. See you guys next time. Bye.